Okay.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. So in this analysis, what I want to do is take us through the Google Street View. We want to really orientate ourselves on the possible route of this vehicle that the Food Mart clerk saw. We want to go backwards from where it was seen and then also forward. So the clerk saw in the footage this vehicle, a white vehicle, moving quickly down the Highway 8, also known as Troy Road, before turning off right after the Food Mart, and this was at 3:45 a.m. So what we want to do in this analysis is orientate ourselves on the map, but going sort of into Moscow and sort of driving the possible route that this person took and just getting a sense of what that looked like. Now, one other thing that is quite interesting is the original Fox News article that I quoted from in last night's live dealing with this. And at that point, it was kind of an exclusive story. Fox News broke the story. Well, they have since removed the video clip of the authorities turning that Food Mart and gas station forecourt into a crime scene. Looks like they've removed that, and instead they've moved something that one of the police officers has said to the main story. The photo of the Food Mart has now been removed from that story. Quite interesting. So before we get to the rest of this episode, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Like, share, leave a comment, and let's get started. So now we're going to look at the map. That's really what this whole analysis right now is going to be all about. It's really looking at this map. And as you can see, it is from Idaho to Troy Road, that distance, 1 mile really. It's really not a long way. What we're going to do instead is we're going to go back along this route. Can you see it go? The turnoff looks like Steiner Avenue. I think there's another possible way of going there, sort of along that route, but that seems less likely. The other thing that's quite interesting is this car is going from an area that is not the student community into the student community and then back out again. There's Idaho Army National Guard. Quite interesting. Okay, so if we go out, I want to go all the way to this Rambler RV park, right? Over here. So that's where we're going to really start our Google Street View, from around about this area. So let's turn it around. This is the area of these RVs, right? And we're going to head into, this is what it looks like here. And we're going to head into town, which I think is that way. So let's head into town. We're going to be passing a Safeway. Hold on, that's not the right way. Okay, it's not the right way. So heading into town, we've got to pass these trees. You can see it says Highway 8 Troy Road. Going over kind of a bit of an incline. Looks like this footage was taken in the fall. There's the cemetery. See the cemetery in some of, when you look at the grid footage, you see the cemetery. Now we're kind of coming down the hill, and now we're entering Moscow, right? So there's the cemetery, and here we go. We're passing by the cemetery, coming into the town, and there you can see the beginning of infrastructure that might have CCTV. So that, I think, is a Safeway. So let's try and get to where that is. And so the question is, are you going to see, are you going to get any CCTV from any of this infrastructure over here? If you look closely, it doesn't really look like there are cameras. I'm not sure if that's a camera, but somewhere along here there probably is a camera. The question is, are you going to be able to track this vehicle's progress through any of the other CCTV in this area? There's also a McDonald's further down. So this is the East Side Marketplace. There's a McDonald's a little further, there it is. Before we get to the McDonald's, there's also a Taco Bell. Is there any cameras over there? Is that a camera? We're trying to look for cameras besides the one on the food mart. We are gonna look at the food mart, but do we see any cameras on this roadside infrastructure looking out towards the highway? Now, I did find a camera. I did find a camera earlier, but unfortunately it's not where you really want it to be. So let's kind of go in this way. We're heading now a little bit away from the highway. No obvious cameras here. There is one on Safeway, so I suppose we could go there. So if you go into this parking lot, and you head to the Safeway, which is sort of over there. Let's go to the Safeway. Closer. There is actually a camera right over there if you zoom in. Let's get a bit closer. There's a camera. I think that's a camera right over there. Let's go even closer. Right, doesn't that look like a camera? So that's the sort of thing we're looking for. But the problem is, if you look at this from above, it's not orientated the way we really need it to be. So let's go out of that view to Safeway. I just want to confirm that that isn't actually going to help you, that particular camera. So there's the cemetery. We've come down here. There's the Dollar Tree. You see the Safeway is on that side, and the white vehicle came down here and was seen going off there. So this Safeway, I think the camera is looking out that way. It's not going to be any good for a car coming down here. Are there any cameras over here? There's a US branch, bank branch. Is any of this fabric going to be able to show you anything? What about on this side as well? But the point is, let me bring it onto satellite. The point is, if you look at that Safeway, the Safeway isn't oriented in any way that is going to help you see onto that highway. That's really the point. So what we're looking for are parts of the fabric, the urban fabric, that are looking out onto this highway that can track the route not only of the vehicle going that way, in addition to the food mart, but also coming back. There are perhaps homes as well with doorbell cameras that might be able to do the same thing. There's Idaho State Liquor Store. Liquor stores often do have that sort of thing. Should we have a look at there's Subway. I think McDonald's is in this sort of area as well. So let's go to Street View and see if we can see if there are any cameras here. There's a Subway. I mean, we can't see anything here, obviously. Nothing is obvious, but surely there has to be one or two cameras somewhere over here. The other thing that's maybe an issue is it's been a month, and I was actually quite surprised that they were able to rescue some of this footage because often it gets taped over. Here is the McDonald's. Surely there is CCTV from there. I mean, is that a camera? A lot of these stores seem to be directed sort of side by side, looking parallel to the highway, not actually looking onto the highway, unfortunately. So we go a little bit further, and this is approaching the food mart. Let's have a look through there. So this is where the food mart is. It's adjacent to a mobile gas station. Right? That's the food mart. And I've also looked all over here for the camera on there. I don't know if that is a camera. I suppose it could be. It's certainly not anywhere on this roof over the gas station. Anyway, this is the this is the area where the clerk, where the camera that the clerk was going through picked up this white vehicle. Now we're just going on to the other side just to get another look. So the camera is more than likely oriented to some extent that it's looking that way. There you can see 802 Troy Road. This is the sort of view that you saw in that Fox article, perhaps more from that side. So let's go back to Highway 8, which is over here. And then now we're going to take the route that the white car possibly took to get to 1122 King Road. So we know from what she said that the vehicle was moving quickly on Highway 8 and then could actually be seen turning off on the side road. That's likely this side road. So some camera here was able to see some movement over there. Does that make sense? And so this is where we're going to turn off. And you can see it says Steiner Avenue. There's Highway 8, Steiner Avenue. So the turn off is here. This is the route that the vehicle took, and it was apparently at night. And one does wonder whether this vehicle passed by those officers while they were citing kids for underage drinking. Continuing to move down Steiner, you can see it's starting to resemble the fabric that we are looking for. So continue down Steiner, continue. Now we're coming really into the student community. Can you see it starting to look like the area that we're already quite familiar with? Continue down Steiner. Continue. It's not really as far. It looks like it's quite far. It's not really that far. There's a little bit of an area where there's not much of a fabric. We're going to this point over the hill. What is going on here? So if there are residences here, one does wonder, are there going to be cameras directed towards the street. So we continue going down here. Starts going uphill. So what we have here is, there it is, the AW All American Food restaurant, and there's very likely CCTV here as well. In fact, it's on the edge of that building. Let's just move around to the side. Let's just move around to this side. Can you see there's a camera over there? Maybe it's not that clear. Let's move onto this side. There's a, how about that? There should be a camera visible over here. That is a camera. It's not a light, it's a camera. So anyway, that is one aspect, one area where they could get additional footage of a vehicle moving by. So let's return to kind of where we were. Hang on. I don't know, we could get this close. Okay. Let's go right over there. There's the camera. Just above Sunset Mart. Okay. So now we go back to where we were. I'm now a little disoriented. Let's have a look where we are. Let's go. So we are now in this area. We've come across using Steiner Avenue. We've come all this way past Troy Road, where the food mart is, then come through Steiner Avenue, and then there's a bit of a dog's leg, and you can either take Lauder Avenue or Taylor Avenue. I think we're going to take Taylor Avenue, right? And that's our destination. Now, bear in mind, all of this is at night. So let's go to Taylor Avenue. I think we're in the right place. We just need to head in the right direction now. I think it's this direction. So let's go down Taylor, or up Taylor. It's not extremely, it's not really within a suburban setup. So there are not a lot of houses or dwellings along this road. And then we want to go all the way down. Still in Taylor Avenue. There is that water tower. And now we're coming very close to where we want to be. And I wonder whether this is where the students were sort of sighted. Wasn't it somewhere around here? Anyway, because I seem to remember that being on the one side and there being a sort of open field on the other. And it was very close to the residence. So let's go a little bit further down. This is Taylor, and then what is this? King Road, right? There's King Road. It says no outlet, I guess no through road. So that's how you get to this point from the food mart, from Highway 8. And I think you're going to start recognizing this as we get closer. So here it's slightly different, a lot more cars. Here's a white car. What kind of car is it? It's not a Hyundai, I don't think. And then there's the house. So you sort of come over here. If you go any further down there, it's not really taking you where you want to go. So you wouldn't really want to go that way, but I suppose you could park there. If you go back, I mean, this is where you want to go. It's up this road. It's actually Queen Road. Yeah, this is King Road. And shall we go back a little bit just to see the vehicles here? What kind of vehicle is that? Well, that didn't help. What kind of vehicle is that? Can we go 1 meter backwards? Well, what about from this angle? That's a Kia. Close, but no cigar. So that then brings us to this house, and it's quite interesting that Google has also now blurred this out. Quite interesting. Anyway, you can also go, it doesn't allow us to go any further. Of course, there's a road that goes up this way. There are 2 residential complexes here, and then you can actually park behind the house here. It's quite interesting what's going on behind the scenes, this blurring out here, and also, as I said, from the Fox News article. So I hope that's made it clear exactly what we're dealing with in terms of the route. And bear in mind, all of this happened at night. So I'm not going to take it further than that. What you really want to do is get into a vehicle in Moscow, drive up and down, and check out every single possible camera. And what you want to do is try and track that vehicle going to the scene. It actually looks like the vehicle went to the scene at, probably got there at 3:49 a.m. And then the crime was possibly committed between 3:50 and 4 o'clock. In that sort of 5 to 10 minute period, and then possibly the vehicle then drove back. And that's obviously assuming that the driver of this vehicle is actually the killer. And if we can follow this vehicle, if we can track this vehicle, then we can find the killer. And if we can find any footage that gets the license plate, then that may bring this case to a head, lickety split, in super quick time. So I'm not going to take it further than that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.